is our club membership director, Nancy Cosway. And so, Nancy, I will hand this over to you.
Thanks, Jeanette. And just before we start, we do have
Nancy, you're muted.
I don't know what happened. Anyway, I'm okay now. So we have someone joining us for the first time. Adebayo, is that Femi? Is that your other name? Okay, and he's also going to be a new member of the club, so we're glad to have him with us. He just joined us while you were speaking, Jeanette. So, okay, so if I can get organized here. So before I begin the report on the district conference, I want to tell members what a great time we had at the Pride Parade. This was the first time Rotary has been in the parade, first time ever, and all clubs were invited. We had a few Rotaractors there. So we had some new members and they brought their friends. Frank was there, Jeanette was there, and myself. And yeah, it was hot. But we had a cooler full of water bottles and we kept everyone well hydrated. And it was really exciting because there were some shout outs to Rotary along the way. And that was great to hear. And this was a great way to show our support to the LGBTQ plus community and our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. We've got plans for next year already, so mark your calendars, join us. We plan to have a trailer as well, so no excuse for those who have mobility issues. And we've also ordered cooler weather. I want to thank Rotarian Dominique Sacco of Vicar Ford on Main Street for the loan of the truck and the driver for the event. And as Jeanette said, check out our Rotary Club Facebook for the photos. So now on to what Jeanette has asked me to talk about, and that was the district conference. So I'm going to share some of the experience and some of the learnings from the District 5550 conference that was held in Saskatoon in May of this year. There were 4 members of our club in attendance, David and Brenda Newman, Frank Cosway, and myself. There were a total of 125 Rotarians in attendance in Saskatoon from the 47 clubs in the district, and about another 20 or so virtually. And I'm going to start off with a Rotary song. So if I can share my screen, Phyllis. And
yeah, sure, you can go ahead.
Okay, just a minute. I got to start this at the beginning. And this was done by Saskatoon Nutana a few years ago, but they played it. Sing.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build good? Will it better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? When we pay it forward, it will be returned. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build good? Will it better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? When we pay it forward, it will be returned. When we pay it forward, it will be returned.
So I think that was just great what they did. Was anybody singing? I couldn't really hear anybody else, but maybe you were.
Humming.
You were humming. Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay. So, oops, she stopped. I'm trying to do something here that I'm not very good at. But anyway, okay, so everybody sang along, and it was great when we were there to see people from around the district to hear stories and I pick up ideas that may be appropriate for our club activities. Also during the conference, there was a citizenship ceremony, which was really welcoming new Canadians, people getting their citizenship. Several families were pretty excited to be there, and we were able to interact with them after the citizenship ceremony. It was a jam-packed 2 days, and it was run very efficiently with sessions on time, lots of opportunity to chat with others, share ideas, eat good food, and have fun. And there was a great band at the closing evening on Saturday with lots of dancing. Many of us participated in a hand-on experience early morning on Friday. We were offered several opportunities and had to sign up in advance. So I went to a school of Indigenous students who were bussed in from the downtown of Saskatoon. Myself and a Rotarian from Saskatoon worked with the nutrition staff and prepared banana muffins, sliced oranges, put them in bags for breakfast for the students. They are provided breakfast and lunch at this school. And it was a very worthwhile experience to help out and see what one of the clubs in Saskatoon is doing to help kids that don't come to school with breakfast. The theme of the conference was Imagine Action, and that's what the conference was all about. There were displays set up from several clubs showcasing projects. David and Brenda Newman were there with the Honoring Indigenous Peoples and World Peace Partners display. And I think they had quite a few visit them and ask questions. They had information to hand out. Shelter Box, Ripple Effect, they had displays. There was a little library display from Melfort, and they actually had a little library there full of books. The Canadian Food Grains Bank was also there because there's several clubs in the rural areas of Saskatoon that support the Food Grains Bank. So what's usually called a House of Friendship, and this was called Imagine Action, it might be an opportunity for our club to showcase some of our fantastic projects at the next conference. And I was thinking maybe the South African projects, which are so successful, could be showcased at that event. Several sessions focused on engagement of members, looking at questions like, what makes Rotary different? How important is Rotary to you? Perhaps as individuals, we should look at these questions and share our comments. So what did I think about after hearing these questions? So some of the things that went through my mind is our club's doing a good job right now with attracting new members. We need to find out why. Why are they attracted to the Rotary Club of Winnipeg? And why are they attracted to Rotary? We need to ask about the interests of these new members have in Rotary and what activities they want to be involved in. Let's ramp up our volunteer activities as many want to volunteer and have an impact on the community. As Jeanette said, soon we will be inducting 5 new members. I think that's fantastic. Let's mentor these members, have them feel welcome, engage them, celebrate them. I'll be reaching out for mentors to have a contact with these new members to achieve this. So please think, how can you become involved with new members? Do you want to be a mentor? Let me know, because this is some opportunity for you to engage with a new member, to tell them all about our projects, and to see what they would like to be involved in. During the conference too, there were 3 presentations on significant projects. So these were projects that had a lot of connections with community and others to implement them, but they were spearheaded by Rotary clubs. So Dauphin, Kenora, and Prince Albert were the ones that were talked about. So the Rotary Club of Dauphin, they have what's called Northgate Trails. Northgate Dauphin, it's a 26-kilometer system of stacked loop, multi-use trails featuring sections for mountain bikers, hiking, trail running, and areas to gather and take in the scenery of Riding Mountain National Park. It grew from the Mud Run fundraiser that the club had in the past. It was very popular. People just loved it, getting dirty and running in the mud, I guess. It evolved into a development of year-round trails. The Rotary Club of Dauphin began with $50,000, and it grew into 1.6 million with grants, donations, and other kinds of funding and fundraising for the project. It's a very popular spot for bikers and a great place for outdoor activities. There were lots of spin-offs. There were now bike shops, the micro cabins so people could stay, local employment, tourism. The fellow doing the presentation said, always say yes and. Don't shut people down with an idea. Add your ideas, have the plan, grow and flourish. And if you want to learn more about the Northgate Trails, visit the website called Northgate Trails Dauphin. Prince Albert was the next club to present something, and they wanted to celebrate their centennial in 2020, and they began planning in 2018 as to what project they might create. They did a lot of research and had discussions as a club before making a decision. Initially, they wanted to rebuild a bridge in the park, but government funding came along to do this, so they couldn't do it. So they then adopted the idea to build an activity park for youth. And was very close to where this bridge was. They decided on refurbishing what was called an urban park in Prince Albert to cater to the ages of 8 to 14. This required a lot of planning and design, looking at safety and what could kids do and what would be the best way to develop this park. And it took a year to get to this decision before they could begin, and they're still in the process of construction. They issued a press release before starting so that the entire community would be aware. And again, there was lots of collaboration, partnerships, and association with other organizations, government, private, and public. But Rotary was the coordinator to be sure that this park would get built. And the final presentation on significant projects was the Rotary Club of Kenora. And this was one of the largest projects taken on by clubs in the district, a splash park. And this was to celebrate their centennial in 2020. And imagine, the planning began in 2014. The budget was $50,000, and that grew to $600,000. And the woman presenting was saying, how do you convince a club that you told there was a project for $50,000 that now was going to be $600,000 and they should keep going? But they did, and they had a lot of donations, they had a lot of fundraising, they had grants, they had all kinds of ways to reach that $60,000. They focused constantly on the goal, and when people told them this wasn't possible, they stepped around those folks and kept their sight on the goal of creating an accessible, child-friendly splash park. They did a lot of fundraising, as I said, applied for grants, partnered with other organizations for funds and other types of support, like a meeting room, photocopying, signage, even small things other organizations wanted to help out with. Engraved bricks were sold for a pathway to the site. Again, there's been lots of spin-offs in the area. Another park's been built with equipment for kids to play on. There's some water activities at the shore because this park is close to the shore. Kids have been bussed in from nearby Indigenous communities, and there are a lot of children with disabilities enjoying this splash park because it's accessible. They celebrated with a grand opening. I think this was neat. One of the neat ideas is they shot embossed t-shirts out of a gun during the opening, and environmental friendly balloons and lots of other ideas. So what can we take away from these presentations? What are the key points to keep in mind if we want to do a big project in our area? So we have to begin with our members. We have to generate ideas. At the beginning, don't discount any ideas. Choose 2 or 3 and do the research to see what's possible. Don't rush the process of research as you want it to be successful. We need to get buy-in from the club members. One of the presenters said, get the right people on the bus. Set up the committee with committed individuals. And partnerships are terribly important, with Rotary coordinating the inputs and reaching out to organizations, individuals, and other groups to participate in this worthwhile project for fundraising and other supports. Keep your eye on the goal. Don't get distracted as others. You know what your goal is, so keep striving to reach there. And contact other clubs who have successful projects to find out what worked and what didn't. Get all the advice you can. It's always helpful. Is it time for the Rotary Club of Winnipeg to commit to a large project in Winnipeg? Is this worthy of a discussion at an in-person meeting? We'll see what happens. But I think it's an important thing. It's something we could look at and see where we could have some impact on some needs that are in Winnipeg. So those are some of the things that I heard at the conference, that I learned at the conference, and then I thought about at the conference. And there were several videos shown at the conference, and I'm going to try and pull one up here. It was done by Ron Nordstrom of Nipawa, and it was on celebrating Rotary. And it's quite informative, and it's also entertaining. So let me see, not being a technical person, I will see if I can pull this up. Okay, now I got to share my, oops. I got to share my screen, eh, Phyllis? Why isn't my Zoom screen coming up?
Yeah, sure, you can.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my Zoom screen, or I'm over here.
Okay.
Sorry, folks. Okay, let's share the screen. And let me see where he is. Here he is. Okay. In it? Is there?
Hello, Rotarians. My name is Ron Nordstrom, and I am a member of the Rotary Club of Nipawa. Today, I am wearing my party hat as we look at celebrating everything Rotary. Well, it's homemade, of course, but I don't really have a party hat. But if I did, it would look like this. Or this. I wish I could be at today's Rotary conference in person, but my wife and I love to travel, and since retirement, we've been doing quite a bit of that. I'm currently in New York visiting a nephew and touring around the Big Apple. The Big Apple. What a weird nickname for a city. Did you know that that nickname has a horse racing origin? Google it. It's a pretty interesting story. So today, we're talking about celebrating. You know, I was at a wedding celebration recently, and during the speeches, the best man said, "All married people, please stand next to the one person who has made your life worth living." Well, the bartender was almost crushed to death. So, celebrating Rotary. First, let's define celebration. Webster says it is the action of having fun at an important event or occasion by engaging in enjoyable, typically social activity. Well, I would argue that a celebration is an opportunity to get together and have fun for productive or social opportunities. We can be productive and still be celebrating Rotary. Every time we gather to do Rotary's work, we are celebrating Rotary's role and purpose. So let's talk first about celebrating our club and its members. One way to celebrate your club and its accomplishments is to run a slideshow at every meeting highlighting recent activities, upcoming events, and other interesting tidbits. The slideshow could run automatically during meetings, and it's a fantastic way to recognize and thank members for their contributions. Work parties are a great opportunity to have fun socializing while being productive. Our major fundraising events provide opportunities to gather, to celebrate our club members. Our online auction, for example, needs work parties to organize and number items, move items from storage to pickup venue, and finally to meet the public to receive payment and distribute items to winning bidders. After the completion of the auction, a celebration at a local restaurant or watering hole is a great way to mark the end of the event. Our annual book sale provides another opportunity for working together towards a common cause. We gather to make wooden display and storage boxes, we gather to sort books, gather to move books from storage to sale location, gather to sell books, then pack up unsold books, and finally gather to celebrate a job well done. Every meeting, it's a great idea to announce important member milestones like upcoming birthdays and anniversaries for Rotarians and their spouses, and of course, sing happy birthday. One thing our club has done a bit of is having Rotarians talk about their lives outside of Rotary. This is an opportunity to know more about the person behind the Rotarian. Rotarians might talk about or demonstrate their hobbies. They might talk about trips they've taken, or they might talk about their life's journey. The topic doesn't matter. Getting to know more about the Rotarian and finding connections is what's important. And our club should do more of that. One way to celebrate with our members is to celebrate something every meeting. Regular meetings don't have to be all business. Try to incorporate some fun. At one time, our club recognized zany national days or weeks. For example, the day I'm working on this video, it's National Magic Day. Can you find a way to incorporate that into your meeting? Encourage Rotarians to wear a hat to a meeting on National Hat Day, or wear an apron on National Tie One On Day. Can you have a bike to meeting month? For that month, every time a Rotarian bikes to a meeting or Rotary event, they could have their name put in for a draw at the end of the month to win a valuable prize, like a bike bell or zany sunglasses or some other fun item. Think of how you could celebrate National Pie Day or National Whiskey Week. Did you know that the second full week of May is American Craft Beer Week? Did you know this is the second full week of May? Why are you still sitting there? Go get a beer. Another way to celebrate our club and members is to take opportunities to gather as Rotarians for non-structured social events in homes and backyards. Have a wiener roast. How about a feast of corn on the cob? Food is always a good way to connect with others. Have a theme potluck, Mexican, Irish, or all foods incorporating bacon. And invite me to the bacon party, please. As well as non-structured events, our club has an annual Paul Harris evening where we recognize contributions of members. And this brings me to the next topic. How can we celebrate Rotary within our communities? To me, celebrating Rotary within our community is very different from celebrating our members. To me, it means promoting our Rotary Club in the community and how our club actions have positively impacted the lives of others in our community. It also means communicating the broader aspect of Rotary International. Our Paul Harris evening is a perfect opportunity to include the community and promote Rotary's causes. Each year, Paul Harris Awards are awarded to community members to recognize their contributions as volunteers who make Nipoa a better place to live. This is a great way to make connections with other organizations in our community like Men's Shed, the Ski Club, Salvation Army, Victoria's Quilts, and so many others. We are fortunate we live in a small community and have a great relationship with the community's only weekly paper. We submit articles or have the press cover our Rotary activities so our community can see how we are making an impact in our community. A great way to promote Rotary within the community is to partner with other groups for a project. We regularly partner with a high school group for a food drive. We partnered with a different high school group in the town of Nipoa for a tree planting project. Like other clubs, we take pictures and share stories about our service projects and accomplishments on social media to show how we impact our community and beyond. Probably every club, including ours, could do more of that. One unique thing we have done is recognize our local emergency services on or around National Day of Service on September 11th. One year, we toured a new fire station, met our volunteer fire department members, and had wings and soft drinks on us. Another year, we toured our new RCMP station, met the local members, support staff, and some family members, and shared a hot dog lunch. And yet another year, we toured the ambulance building, met local members and their families, and had a hot dog and corn on the cob meal. The work you do as a Rotarian is important. We need to remember to stop occasionally and reflect on our successes. We need to take time to celebrate our accomplishments, give each other a pat in the back, and get on with the next project. So, Mother's Day is just around the corner. I'd like to pass on a little wisdom that my mother passed down to me. Number one, sometimes you have to hug people just to see how big they dig the grave. Number two, women who carry a little extra weight live longer than the men who mention it. 3, if you answer the phone with, "Hello, you're on the air," most telemarketers will hang up. 4, if you can't find your dog, open your fridge. Now he'll be standing right behind you. So, this Mother's Day, treat your mother to a margarita. You're probably the reason she drinks. Have a great conference, everyone, and thanks for listening.
So I think Ron does a great job. I mean, most of it was specific to Nipawin, but I think there's lots of ideas that we can pull from there that might be something. But the whole point was celebrating and celebrating Rotary, celebrating our members, celebrating everybody. If you want to look at it again, it's on the district website. You just have to go to admin, and then there's video resources, and it's there. I've looked at it 3 or 4 times, and there's always something new I hear and remember. So that's all I'm going to say. Just to say, let's celebrate Rotary, and thanks for your commitment and your to Rotary and to all the work that we do. Thanks so much.
And thank you, Nancy. We need a song. So if there's any musicians amongst us, or budding musicians or songwriters, let's write a song. That was awesome.